Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Power Rankings for Northwoods Football League. Here, week 12, starting off at the bottom. We'll work our way to the top as always, but not a lot of movement. Actually, no movement for the first 8 spots. All of them lost games, some of them worse than others, including the Vikings, the Raiders, both get blown out. The Packers loses to the Bears, divisional game, not ideal. Otherwise, the Steelers, he was on bye, so he's looking okay, I guess. So I guess he didn't lose. He's one of the few that did not lose. The Chargers loses close to the Bills, so that's good for him. And then the Buccaneers lose to divisional opponent, the Falcons. Nothing crazy there. And we look ahead at the Chiefs here, Jacob, and he is slowly falling apart here. Started out really good this season. He was 3-1. I thought he was going to be fighting for the AFC West, and here we are 6 games later, and all 6 of those are losses. So I don't know what happened or where his offense went, but it feels kind of like it was thrown out the window and forgotten about. And unfortunately, not much more can be said for the Cowboys. Lately, he's been on a bit of a skid. 4 in a row, not ideal. Only one of them, thankfully, to a divisional opponent. So, he's still in a good spot if he can get himself turned around to win that NFC East, as they are kind of in shambles right now. It's not a great division. They're all within a couple of games of each other, so it's really anybody's division. Heck, even the Commanders and Titan Killer, if he can turn a season around, could end up being a playoff team with how that division looks. But speaking of could be a playoff team, grind season, and the turnaround that man has had. 4 in a row after starting 0-6, he is on the hunt. He goes on vacation for a couple weeks, comes back, he is a changed man. 4 wins in a row. He is ready to try and claim himself a spot in the playoffs, and I honestly, with how he's played, think he could do it. Benny and the Cardinals, on the other hand, definitely could claim a division or a playoff spot. Unfortunately, probably won't get a divisional spot. The 49ers pretty much have a stronghold over that division. But he gets a win against the Seahawks, so that's always good that you can get divisional wins when you're trying to compete still. As far as making it to the playoffs, he certainly can. The NFC looks like shit in the bottom half. The bottom team is a 5-5 team, so Benny realistically is only a game out of the playoffs right now, and yeah, it's anybody's game. So we'll see if he can squeak his way in, or if he's just going to stay pat and finish around 500. Speaking of the NFC West, we've got 2 teams coming up. We've got Alex and the Rams, who did not move at all, but he won against the Raiders, so I don't think that's enough to justify moving him up or down. It's bottom team against a mid-tier team. You should win that game, theoretically. And David, quick and thick, and the Bears, he is currently holding the 7 seed in the NFC at 5-5. He gets a big win over the Packers, which he needed to stay in contention for the NFC North. Currently only a game behind Beeman and the Lions, so I could see David making another run now that he's back from a little bit of a hiatus. He started off the season hot, 4-2, then went on his hiatus, lost 3 in a row due to forced losses, and won his first game back. So I could easily see David making a push here with that last third of the season to either keep his playoff spot or maybe jump up to the top of the division. Then we got Jay, who I thought was going to make a comeback. He was looking really good, playing against the number 1 team, the Browns, and he only loses by 8. He was doing fantastic that entire game, and the wheels just came off at the wrong time, unfortunately. And yeah, the way he looked, though, he should be a playoff team or in contention for a playoff spot come the end of the year. Prince Petty and the Jets now. He beats the number 3 team in Northwoods, the Patriots, Jet Jackson. Defense wins championships, and defense beats the Patriots. The score was only 10-7, but Petty did it. He beat the top team in his division and keeps, honestly, that entire division alive. They're only 2 to 3 games back from that top spot. So good job, Petty, for helping out your division mates. Speaking of division mates, Seeley also gets a win over the Chargers this week, and he's tied currently for the Jets for that bottom spot in their division, but they're both not too far out of second or third, so they can both make a push, see what happens. Doughboy and the Giants, on the other hand, beats the Eagles very handedly, takes the top spot of their division. Did not rank him above the Eagles yet, but if the Eagles keeps his current trajectory, next week the Giants will for sure be over the Eagles. Floyd, we talked about grind season, his turnaround of a season. Floyd, almost just as good. Except Floyd, in my opinion, has played better users in his 6 wins that he has. He started out 1-5 and has won now 5 in a row. So he's easily going to be in playoff contention and honestly could very well be a Super Bowl contender on top of that with how well he has played. Beeman, that Super Bowl slip. I don't know what happened, but he's slowly recovering, blows out the Vikings, and he's sitting at 6-5, 1 game ahead in the division, ahead of the Bears. So we'll see if he can hold that lead or if David can make something happen and take that spot. Mighty Martin lost to the Giants, loses his top spot of the division, and yeah, he's been on a bit of a slip. He's lost 2 of his last 3 games, and we'll see if he can keep getting the wins in the last third of the season. He has a pretty favorable schedule, in my opinion, where he should come out with at least 10 wins, but we'll see. You know, it's Madden. You'd never know what's going to happen. Now into the top 10. We've got Dustin, who drops a couple spots after his loss this week, but he is hanging on by a thread in spot 8 out of the AFC. So you see the Jaguars, the Colts, and honestly all 4 of the teams right above him are the teams holding spots in front of him. So if one of them slips up, he can easily sneak his way back up into the playoff bracket and could make some noise. Lately, has not been making a lot of noise with Achan, which is generally his biggest noisemaker, to be honest. He has run the ball first, and lately that has not been working out the greatest for him. So we'll see if he can reestablish that really good run game and find himself back in the playoffs. Licking the Texans gets a big win for his second time over the Colts and Vols Go. So he jumped the Colts in the standings. So now he's got the 4 seed, the lead in the AFC South. And at this point, it's just don't lose it. Hold on and don't let go. Because you got 2 people, including Faux Bronco and the Jaguars, right on your ass, ready to steal that spot from you if you slip up. Faux Bronco, he's had a pretty consistent season. He's been quietly hiding behind both the Texans and the Colts all season, trying to break his way into that top spot, but has not yet. I could see it happening, but we'll see if he can keep winning games here. The Ravens loses a pretty close game to the Panthers, who, like I said, are on a tear, so I am not surprised that the Ravens lost, but also a 7-3 team. He should be the better team in that matchup and should have won. He was the favorite and comes up short, but I didn't feel it was justifiable enough to drop him from where he is. He's still played very good outside of that one game. You know, it's upsets happen. Then Foles going the Colts. He's on a bit of a downslide. I don't know what happened. He was riding high and now has lost 3 out of his last 4 games. Like I said, 2 of which being to the Texans and then the other one to the Jaguars. So he is currently sitting at 0-3 against his division mates. Just kidding, 1-3. 1-3. So that's not a good look. You got one more game against the Jaguars and one more against the Titans. Kind of need to win both of those to hold any tiebreakers, but we'll see if he can do that. The rest of his schedule, in my opinion, is not overly favorable for him to get some wins, so we'll kind of keep an eye on him and see how far he drops, if at all more. Bishop and the Falcons. He has also been on a tear, as Bishop tends to do. Currently second in the NFC and first in his division. Big win over the Buccaneers again last week. Not much else to say other than keep doing what you're doing. On the other hand, the Patriots losing to the Jets only by 3, 10-7. Like I said, very defensive game. But when your only touchdown is a double pass, something's not working. Because we all know the double pass, how it works in Madden. It's a little too good. But, you know, from somebody who's generally a top 3 user in the league, I expect a little more than 7 points. Not gonna lie. T. Cannons and the Broncos. He gets another one. He moves up, blows out the Chiefs. Like I said, they've been sputtering, so Broncos takes advantage of it and gets another win. Sets himself up nicely as the number 2 seed currently in the AFC. And yeah, I would not be surprised if he keeps that spot going into playoffs. And both the 49ers and Browns get another big win, stay at that 1 and 2 spot. So yeah, that is all. Thank you guys for hanging out and watching the Power Rankings.